applying, and they are encouraged to apply at the beginning of October, because it gives lots of time then to be sure to include everything they need in their applications to their chosen post-secondary schools. Alberta, BC, and Ontario have central application centers. Alberta's is Apply Alberta. It does not have a fee. BC now has, in the last couple of years, the Education Planner BC. These, by the way, if you access the PowerPoint in the future, these are links to those websites. And Ontario's UAC, as we call it, OUAC, Application Center, the fee is $156 for the first 3 programs to which a student may apply. $50 is required if you apply to more than 3 programs in Ontario schools. Applying to US schools, and first the US schools. So most students I've worked with have used the Common App, and it is like the Ontario one and the Alberta one, a central application center. Others may use individual web-based application processes. The universities in California and MIT have their own portals. They do not use the Common App. Most applications will open in August, and their usual deadline, as noted there, is January. However, as in Canada, universities will have varying application deadlines depending on specific programs. Best time to apply is the fall of the grade 12 year. Student has access to references and to their marks, because they are going to have to share those, of course, and their transcripts. The SAT and ACT, which are general knowledge exams, most US schools do not require these anymore. MIT is one school that does require at least one of those, the SAT or the ACT. Costs can be substantial to go to the US. As we know, our exchange rate is not very good. So it costs anywhere from 20,000 US dollars to about, well, it can be up to 50,000 US dollars a year. Schools overseas. I've had several students over the last 10 years apply to various places overseas. Most will apply actually to UCAS, the UK, the British application portal, and it opens mid-May, but you cannot submit anything until the 3rd of September. So you may begin entering your information, but application submissions and transcripts, etc., don't begin until September. 15 October is an important date to know for Oxford, Cambridge, and most medicine, vet med, and dentistry programs over there. I had a student who had to meet that deadline a few years ago, and he did, and he's there now. Other schools, programs, they end in January. So you must get your application information in by then. Australia is interesting because they have a different calendar year than we do, different winter, different summer. So there you apply on the school's website, whichever school you're interested in attending, you go directly to that school website, and they accept your applications from October to November for their semester 1, which begins in February, different from our September start here in Canada. And then New Zealand is very similar. They accept applications from October to December for their February start, and they too want you to go directly to the school's website, whichever school you're interested in attending. The costs in Australia can be anywhere from 23,000 to 51,000 Canadian dollars a year, but New Zealand is actually quite a bit cheaper. it's about $6,000 to $9,000 a year, Canadian. What is early admission? This is the biggest term that is misunderstood, the biggest misunderstanding. It refers to an early offer of admission. It does not mean that students may apply in grade 11 with their grade 11 marks and courses only. It means that if you have your application complete by, let's say, December of your application, your grade 12 year, and they can see that any grade 12 courses you've completed and the prerequisite courses that you need for the program you're applying to, that those averages of the grade 11 and the finished grade 12 courses, they will be able to determine if this is a student who should be given an early offer of admission. Those offers, so the student, for example, might have a 90% average and wants to go into engineering. So English 20 is done, so math 20 is done, physics 20 is done, and chemistry 20 are done. They will take those, and if that average is 90 or higher, then that is a pretty good bet that the student is a strong student and a good candidate. And they may offer then, usually it's early in January, they'll offer the person a spot in the program. So your student has applied for engineering at UC, for example. They can see from those grade 11 marks that the student is a strong student and a good candidate. They offer that. There is a caveat involved. They must, it's conditional, the offer is conditional upon completing the entrance requirements. And those entrance requirements are that you graduate from high school, you complete all the required courses at the grade 12 level, and you maintain the competitive entrance average. So for example, the entrance average for engineering in the past few years has been anywhere from 85% overall of the 5 required grade 12 courses to 88%. So that's what the student must maintain by the time they finish high school. Undergraduate programs. So this is just an idea here that I'm showing you. There are bachelors of arts and there are bachelors of science. The Bachelor of Arts degrees are listed there, some of them. There are many others. Same for the Bachelor of Science degrees. Those are all in the different types of bachelor degrees, and that they're mainly in those 2 categories. So an example of a Bachelor of Science program requirement for example, biology, chemistry, biochem, life sciences, health sciences, kinesiology, etc. It's 5 in Alberta, 5 grade 12 courses, including English 30-1, which is required for every university program, regardless whether it's arts degree or science degree. Math 30-1 for science, biology 30, chemistry 30, because these are life sciences, and then a 5th course. And schools like University of Calgary, they will choose that 5th course from whatever other 30-level course is an approved course under their options or academic courses that is the highest mark. They always do that in support of the student. So whatever will give that student the highest overall average with the 4 required and the option or other academic. Another example, engineering. Engineering, regardless where you apply, requires 5 courses. ELA 30-1, Math 30-1, Math 31 Calculus, which is university, first year of university math, Bio 30, Chem 30, or Physics 30, depending on which type of engineering the student is interested in. outside of the province, those places, provinces that have grade 9 to grade 12 high school will look for a 6th course. So whatever their other highest grade 12 course is, along with the 5 required, that's how they will look at their entrance average, calculate it. Another example, because some of our students are also interested in commerce, in business, they do want you to have Math 30-1, the English obviously, and 2 other academic courses. As I've listed there, they could be Computing Science 30 because U of C sees that as an academic class. Not all universities do, but U of C does. Social Studies 30-1 is academic, etc. And then of course 1 more course because you need at least 5 in Alberta, or 2 more if you're going outside of Alberta. So this is another important piece of jargon to understand. The minimum versus competitive averages. The minimum average is, so let's say you have your 5 engineering required courses and your English mark is 75. That meets the minimum average for most universities across the country. Each course must be at least 75. However, if all courses are 75, then the overall average is 75. So that will not meet most of the competitive averages for competitive programs like engineering and business. So a competitive average is usually much higher than the minimum required average, which can be, depending on the university, the minimum could be 65, 70%, but the competitive average for the program, as I mentioned about U of C, competitive average for engineering is 85 to 88%. So the 5 required courses must add up, their average must be at least 85 to 88% or higher.
Linda, do most schools post both the minimum and competitive averages?
Yes, they do. They're in their view books, they're on their websites. So some students, many students I've known, their forte, especially if they were newcomers who had learned English when they came to Canada, their English might be 72, but their other marks were great, and that it was able to bring up, they were able to bring up the overall average to the competitive average. Okay, so funding, post-secondary school. There are literally thousands of scholarships and awards offered across the country. There are many different websites, and one of the most brilliant evolutions of scholarship websites now is that they have you create a profile. So the student signs up, creates a login, and gives basic information about their interests, what their strengths are, what they like to do, and the site will funnel the various awards and scholarships that suit the student. For example, let's say someone's an excellent creative writer. They do that for fun in their spare time. They'll send them a scholarship that comes up, do some creative writing, and you could win $1,000. So they get to do that. So some scholarships, a lot of scholarships are based on averages, your academic average, but not all. There are thousands, as I said, and many, many, many of them are based on things like community service, what your interests are, sports, your abilities, your skills, your talents. So it's worth having a look. It can be like a part-time job, actually, trying to find scholarships, but they're worth it in the end, as you can imagine, because every couple $100 or $500 adds up to a lot of money. The Loran Scholarship is a huge Canadian scholarship. And they look for, beyond grades, they do look at grades, a breadth of interest, a deep commitment to service, the courage to make difficult decisions, and the determination to work towards long-term goals. So many students will apply. It's quite a big application process. There's a lot to create for it and write, but we had students at Western earn that $100,000 reward. So it's worth looking into. The Alexander Rutherford Scholarship is one that I have told all of our students about, because it's really important to know about it right from the beginning of grade 10. So in the fall, I presented this to all the grade 10 students, and then when I did the grade 11 presentation in October, I presented it to them. It's a wonderful award for any Alberta student, and it is based on, as you will see there, your English language arts mark in each of the grades, plus 2 of whatever your highest in social, math, science, or a language. So some students who are in schools that have languages, they would count. And any 2 other subjects. So these could be options classes or whatever the next 2 best marks are. They do the average to that. If a student has 80% or over in grade 10, 11, and 12, then they can earn $2,500. If they have 1 year where they don't have it quite as high, that's fine. They will earn the money for the years they did have the 80% or over. And as you can see, it's a bit less, but still considerable for 75 to 79.9% in those 5 courses. So it's really worth being aware of this so that students will put their best efforts in and be able to get that check to their homes in the fall after grade 12 of $2,500 that they get to spend how they choose. And they apply for this after grade 12. They need to see all of the courses completed for the whole of the 3 high school years. Finally, a very important thing that students must do is create their MyPass account. The MyPass account allows you to access all of your education records, your transcript, which is called your detailed academic report, and to be able to order transcripts to be sent out of province. That costs $10 still, I believe, to send a transcript out of province when they apply to universities outside Alberta. In Alberta, the schools are able to access through Apply Alberta, they access the DAR. So students do not have to send those directly to the schools or have them sent. They will and can download an unofficial copy to add to their profiles for the Alberta schools, or for any other school who says, yes, you can send us an unofficial one to give us your current completed grades and to show us which courses you're currently taking.
It's important to understand, parents, this isn't something we do at the school because we can't. It is up to the students to do that on their own, and all of our kids should have their MyPass accounts. Now, there are some American and international schools where we need to help them a little bit, and if that's the case, they can talk to Ms. Forde. But anywhere in Canada, the students need to be doing this on their own.
Yeah, so once they have that MyPass account set up, they register at mypass.alberta.ca, it's very straightforward. They just need their Alberta student number, which actually is their school ID number here at STEM, another brilliant thing. They will, and if they need any help figuring that out, they certainly can talk to me about how to set up that account. I'd be happy to help them with that. And that's all I have for today. Oh, the other thing about the MyPass account, it is your adult Alberta digital ID after you finish high school. So students must use a personal email when they set up that account.
Yeah, like their own Gmail, not the school account, because they'll lose their school account once they graduate in grade
Yes.
12. They need to have their own Hotmail or Gmail or
Yes,
whatever
perfect.
account.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Linda. Lots of
welcome.
information there, especially I know we have lots, I'm looking at who's here, and I know we have a lot of first-time parents traveling this journey, and it is overwhelming at first when your child's starting to look at universities and consider all these things. So what we'd like to do now is open up the floor to you. Maybe what we'll do is if you have specific questions that you would like Linda to answer, definitely maybe not specific to a program in a school, that would be more of an email to her. But if there's kind of more questions, hey, my daughter wants to go to Queens, would we go about this? We're definitely happy to answer those more general questions. So go ahead and raise your hand, and I will try to let you answer your questions. No raised hands. Was Linda?
There's
Oh,
one.
there's one. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. My eyes are so bad. Judah, I think that is you. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead and answer or ask.
Hello, Principal, and hello, Miss Linda.
Hello.
This is Priya's mother. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
So actually, I was trying to connect on the phone, and I just missed information related to how to apply for medical streams if my daughter is interested in going to veterinarian program or something related to medicine. So which are the possible required subjects that they have to be taking, or mandatory subjects, like is it physics 30 or bio 30 or something like that? So can you give us a little bit explanation on that?
Absolutely. Yeah, so actually, for medicine in particular, a student may do any undergraduate degree, but the majority of students end up doing a biochem degree, life sciences degree, they're called in some places, and the requirements for those are English 30-1, Math 30-1, Bio 30, and Chemistry 30, and then there would be a fifth course, of course, required to create the average, the entrance average. So you could do a biology degree, science degree, you could do a chemistry degree, you could do a biochem degree or a life sciences, and that will usually set you up for being able and ready to write the MCAT, which is the medical entrance exam, and applying for a medicine, which is a graduate program. So after you have completed your undergraduate degree.
So Regina, they don't necessarily need a physics 30. And there is some physics on the MCAT, but it is actually more 20 level physics than 30 level physics. We've had lots of kids write MCATs and be successful without physics 30.
Yeah, oh yeah, it won't, yeah, that would not, it's not necessary. It's recommended to do physics 20 because of the MCAT, but by the time you're writing that MCAT 4 years later, you probably will have done a physics course in your undergraduate degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to extend my question as well. So as our school, does it kind of tell us or guide us like, okay, you know what, this program is good for what you're looking for? So do you give any suggestions or any information to the kids like, okay, if you're doing on this path, then try going to this university, or is it something like that? Because for us as parents from immigrants from different country, we are completely blind. So that's my question, sorry.
Yes, absolutely. I meet with students every day looking at their 3-year plans. We look at what they're interested in doing after post-secondary, and we make sure that in their 3 years here, they are achieving the courses they need. And then when they are looking at those universities, I guide them absolutely and help them to determine, okay, where should I go? Canadian universities, we're very lucky. They're very standardized across the country. Undergraduate degrees are pretty equal across the country. Some schools are more popular than others, but really, an undergraduate degree in Canada, you can be sure you're getting what you need in that undergraduate degree wherever you go.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right,
welcome.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Hina, why don't you pop on here and you can turn on your mic and camera.
Hi, this is Hina Simra's mom. I just had a question about social 30. If the child is considering taking 30-2 instead of -1, does that affect their admissions? Because that's what my daughter is thinking about. I'm not sure. I tell her she should do -1, but she said it doesn't matter. So.
Well, if she is not going to go into political science or social sciences, then she doesn't have to have the -1. If her goal is a science degree, she's not going to use the social 30-1 as one of the entrance courses. So it is true, it's possible.
So we're good if we take -2.
Well, we don't offer -2 here.
But
There's
some are going to summer school.
some are doing it in summer school.
Okay.
As a parent, I would say take the -1. It's not that much more. It's not like English in the level of difficulty. They'll get a better understanding of some kind of more technical writing in a -1 than they will in a -2. They'll also be surrounded with kids more of like mind.
The other thing about the -1 is that, as English does, it really builds your critical analytical thinking skills.
Yes.
Because they have to do those analytical papers and the source analyses, that really develops those thinking abilities.
Yep.
So that's another really good reason to stick with that academic level of social.
One more from a parent, I would say my daughter thought that would be a great idea too and did it online. The amount of work that they are requiring online for that and in English online is unbelievable because they can't assess group work and discussions and things like that in the online classes. The amount of assignments and writing was almost insurmountable. So just personal experience.
No, I'll let her know. This really helps. Thank you for
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Okay, Beth.
Hi, sorry, I can't turn on my camera at the moment.
That's okay.
Okay.
Answer the questions. My question was about whether or not physics, chemistry, and biology all need to be taken during the year 12. If Felipe is going to be applying to something like biomedical at U of C, I know that we had looked at the sciences and the math, and we're just trying to figure out whether he should concentrate on the sciences or make a space for that Math 31.
Math 31 is only required for engineering. No other program requires it.
So if biomedical is, do you happen to know if UFC considers biomedical engineering because it just has the engineering?
They do.
Oh, it's
as one of the
engineering?
Engineering.
Oh, it's
programs?
engineering.
Yeah.
It's engineering. Then yes, you must have the 31.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Doesn't need the physics.
Okay.
Not
So he
to,
needs the-
so let me clarify that though, okay? So if he did the
Okay.
bio 30 and the chemistry 30 and does the physics 20, the physics material, getting into the engineering at U of C, they have a summer institute in August before the students begin university in the fall. And anyone who doesn't have the physics, because their first year is a general first year, and you go into your chosen stream in year 2. So they do want you to have some physics, even if you're going into biomedical engineering. So they will do a 3-week, I think it's about 3 weeks, institute at the university to learn the physics. The same for
Okay.
students who don't have biology. They offer the biology in the summer, in August, before they begin their engineering program.
Okay, so it wouldn't necessarily matter if he ends up doing biology or physics next year.
He should
No,
have two
he
of the
would-
three.
He needs 2 sciences for sure. So,
Yeah, so the chemistry for sure.
yeah, and either physics or biology.
Perfect. That definitely answered my question. Thank you so much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
awesome. Subha, you're next.
Good evening. Could not switch on the camera.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm Daya's father, and in the slides we noticed that biology is required for engineering admission. And when we checked with my son, he said biology is not required. We want to ensure that
For
how
general?
to complete that biology course.
biology is not required for which program?
Engineering.
No, it's not. Not unless you want to do bioengineering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not required.
It's biology or physics, depending what kind of engineering they want to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yep. Shannon.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks so much for hosting this and answering all of our questions. I was curious about entrance into BC and have heard from some of the universities there that because our curriculum in Alberta is considered more stringent, that they provide like a bump up for Alberta students.
It depends on the university. UBC has specifically stated that this year in a counselor update I went to, that yes, they are again giving a 4% bump up for Alberta applicants because yes, we have a more rigorous course requirement. We have standardized exams. The exams basically tell them that what the student has learned, right? And that the course mark is accurate. Yeah, so that yes, they do know that students who are performing at an 85% in Alberta actually equal the performance of a 90% student in BC.
But University of
Graduates in BC.
Victoria is not
Doesn't do that.
not
Yeah.
officially.
It really depends on the school. But I will say that across the country, the universities are aware of the rigor of the Alberta curriculum, and they know how hard the students, how challenged they are, and if they do really well, then they're very good students.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So much to take in.
Yes, but I'm here, I'll answer questions, you just need to email me, I'm happy to answer.
Now you just need to go buy a condo in downtown Vancouver. That's all.
Yeah, we'll just have to do a few bottle drops. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Shannon. Okay, we're gonna move on to another question. Before we do that, Angela had posted and asked if you would talk about SAIT,
Yep.
university transfers.
Okay, so SAIT University transfers, what that means is that SAIT has many agreements with universities, and so some of their programs the student goes in and does a 2-year diploma, for example, in electronics engineering, technology, and that person then is ready to work when they finish their SAIT diploma and may apply to one of the transfer universities with whom SAIT has an agreement. For example, University of Alberta, University of Lethbridge, U of C. There's a wide variety actually. I was looking at them 2 days ago with a student. And those 2 years of diploma are applied towards the degree program, and then they just need to do 2 more years to complete the degree in, for example, electronics engineering.
Should be noted too that SAIT does offer some bachelor programs now.
Yes.
and especially some of our kids with their technical skills, we're phenomenal kids. There are some outstanding programs at SAIT that fit our kids very, very well. And, even 2-year programs, they can get out working a lot quicker because our kids are actually coming out with high level skills even after our 30 level courses.
Yeah.
So take a look with your child. Some kids just poo-poo it, but once they start looking at it, they might get pretty excited about it.
It's also interesting to note that many engineer graduates from universities and from U of C will go to SAIT after their engineering degree and do the diploma because it's hands-on and it teaches them an awful lot about what they're actually moving into as a career.
Yeah. We had one of our Future Ready speakers started engineering at U of C, got 2 years in, and he's like, this is way too big picture for me. So he moved over, did drone technologies at SAIT, graduated, loves it, and is working his way up pretty fast. So lots of great programs there. Good question. Okay, Nikhil, I can see you are on here. Go ahead, Nikhil. Are you there?
Nikhil isn't there.
Oh, it's Mom. Hi.
Hi.
And his mom, Suchita. I put his name so he could connect, but he couldn't connect. He's still on the way on the train.
Okay.
So he had a question regarding he is interested in looking something in Waterloo.
Mm-hmm.
So what is anything he should do differently other than, because when he see they are looking at extracurricular and more volunteering, so he said the volunteering he's doing in the school with his robotics and other things, would that be enough hours?
Well, it certainly will help. They have the supplemental part of their application. If it's engineering he's looking at, the biggest thing is that it's about a 94 to 95% average that's required as well. But if, assuming all the students applying have the competitive average, then yes, they look at those supplemental questions and they see what is the student involved in, who is this person, right? They're looking at character, they're looking at how the person answers the questions, and that could be the difference between one student has a 95 and another one who also has a 95. They look at who they are.
You might want to look at some summer employment, whether it's volunteering in the summertime as well, or even, students that balance jobs, that says something to them as well. Because I know our FIRST robotics kids and our VEX robotics kids do a lot of stuff inside the school, but it's good to maybe diversify themselves just a little bit more on top.
Yeah, people who are busy doing things and maintaining such excellent grades, it shows, and leadership positions as well, like as Carrie just mentioned. If you had a summer job, even at like a summer camp, leading younger students, that's an example of a leadership type role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Would it be more, sorry, continuing a bit. So would it be more convenient working on an academic tutoring sites or working in regular any other?
I don't think it matters
What's the
what
effect?
type of work or what type of volunteering. No, not at all. Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
Sure, thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Misty, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, hi, thanks. Thanks for doing this again. My question is just about Quebec. My understanding was the government there had doubled or, I don't know, increased out of province tuition significantly. And then I'd heard something about some universities maybe giving grants or something to reduce that cost, but I couldn't really find anything. Do you have any info?
All I know is that they have increased, now their international student levels for anyone coming out of province, which is really unfortunate. And if there are grants, I haven't heard about any of them yet either. Yeah, but I can find out.
or a specific school doing something, like I heard something about McMaster doing something different to alleviate that, but I
Well,
couldn't find anything.
You mean McGill, I think.
Or sorry,
Yeah,
McGill, sorry, not
yeah.
McMaster. Yeah, McGill,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I can look that up. I can absolutely contact the people there, the recruiters there, and see what they can tell me for sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Wyatt wants to go all the way over there, hey?
Well, he wants to go to Nova Scotia.
Okay,
Oh, that's better.
that's good.
It's even
A
farther,
lot cheaper.
So. Cheaper, yep.
Okay, we had another, thanks Misty. We have another chat before I get to Amy. This is from Shelley. One university my son wants to go to is UBC. He's considering UBCO and then transferring to UBC Vancouver after a year or two. Can you do that or must complete fully at one location?
No, you absolutely can transfer. You can transfer from any university to another university. You apply as a university student who's already in a program to either some change their programs or to the same program. I did it in my second year at university. I went from U of C to U of T because they had a dual language degree many moons ago. Anyway, yes, you absolutely can do that. No problem. And they will look at your university marks then, just so you know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Eamon's on here with another question. He asks about Athabasca University transfer route. What do you know about that?
I don't know about the University of Athabasca route, actually.
So Eamon, why don't you come?
Certainly find out.
Yeah, come talk to Miss Forde about that. And then he asked, is there a report, just a general report about competitive averages across Canada? I don't believe so. You need to go to each school within each program. So it's all separated out.
Yes.
And then finally, can STEM students take some classes from SATE if in grade 12? There are what bigger schools call dual credit programs. Right now, STEM does not have an agreement with SATE for anything like that, and you wouldn't be able to go and take classes at SATE for credit unless you've graduated from high school or meet their minimum requirements for those classes. So even again, come to Ms. Forde if there's something specific you're looking at, and she can kind of help guide you on that.
I think the question was about Athabasca transfer agreement with SATE.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes,
he can come
there
to you
is.
after that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Amy, you're up.
Okay, I'm not putting my face on because I don't look nice. Thank you very much for doing this meeting. I really appreciate it. I'm curious if my daughter has a situation where she's not going to be accepted because of competitive averages and needs to do an upgrade on one of her classes. What are her options with regard to that? Are you guys going to allow her to come back and upgrade the next semester, or what are the best ways to go?
No, most schools do not have students come back to upgrade. In the CBE, for example, if students need to upgrade, they will go to Chinook Learning, which is the adult education side of CBE. So no, the student would not return here, but there are, of course, other options. They include actually Chinook Learning because it's adult education, so you don't have to be a CBE student, and obviously she's graduated, so she's really an adult now. The other thing is that U of C offers courses upgrading, Mount Royal offers upgrading, SATE offers high school upgrading. So there, it absolutely is an opportunity. There's online, there are several online platforms that students can upgrade, can redo courses. So it's totally possible to do that upgrading. It's not a problem. Lots of students do that. They will not apply for the year after graduating. They will upgrade. And actually Mount Royal University has the university entrance option. And so if a student needs to upgrade courses and they get into the university entrance option, they begin their upgraded courses along with some of the university classes in the first semester. So for example, if a student had English 30-2 from another school and wants now to go into a degree program at Mount Royal, they can go to Mount Royal, do the English 30 in first semester while also taking courses towards their degree choice. It's an excellent possibility.
And the nice thing about that, I will add.
Basically like an open studies degree?
It isn't. It's
what it is?
No, it's not. It's very different because open studies, you have to have the English 30-1 and a couple,
The marks,
at least one other, and the marks to get into the open studies. Open studies just means that you haven't chosen a specific program. When I went to U of C way back in the Stone Age in 1981, I did what they called at the time general studies. That's open studies. And then in my second year, I declared my major.
So the nice thing about the university transfer program at MRU is you don't have to write the diploma exam.
That's true.
So let's say they have to upgrade their math and they just can get the mark they want. They can take that the grade 12 level math there, Alberta curriculum, but they don't write the diploma exam because they're just staying at Mount Royal after that. So excellent, excellent, strongly recommended program. We've seen lots of kids find success there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Nikhil's mom, I see your hand is up. Were you wanting another question there, or you can put the hand down? Okay, I'm going to assume no. Okay, Melinda. Oh,
No,
sorry.
okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
The other question was, in U Calgary, there is a dual credit opportunity courses they could do. In summer, it says there is students can be selected to participate in dual credit studies. Will receive detailed information if they can register themselves into the courses. There are a few courses available, but when Nikhil and we were trying to register for that, there was the STEM school was not there. So is there?
It's because we don't have that. We don't have dual credit in place here.
We have to sign a master agreement with them, and you have to apply to do that. And we are working on some master agreements with a couple universities, but it is a long process.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it also needs to fit our charter. So, we can't just offer all these random dual credits because they don't necessarily all fit our charter.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
You're
thanks.
welcome.
Okay, Melinda, go ahead.
Hi, again, I'm one who has not put on my face, so sorry, I'm not going
It's all good.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm just wondering, is there any word on whether or not our students will get AP credit for their courses at STEM going to university?
No, they will not. We don't offer AP or IB.
But I thought that they are doing AP level courses right now at STEM. No, they're not.
No. So advanced placement is a prescripted curriculum that you are a member school of. We are not. We are doing our own honors curriculum in addition to obviously the high level Bio 30, for example, and Math 30. But we are working with universities to develop what they believe is a richer curriculum than the kind of the very old written IB and AP curriculum. So no, we are not offering that. Now, having said that, our kids will, I can guarantee you what our kids are coming out, having my own children been in AP and IB, I believe what they're getting is going to prepare them that much better than the scripted curriculum of that.
Our
But they're
curricula,
not going to get credit for that.
No.
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 Okay. And will that change in the future, or?
No,
Okay.
part of our philosophy is that we want to be on the cutting edge. We want to be doing what what universities are informing us rather than the advanced placement curriculum out of the US or IB international curriculums. So that is part of our philosophy that we will most likely never change.
Okay, great. Okay, good to know. Thank you
Okay.
so much, you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Please keep this on.
I'd like to comment that our rigorous curricula are excellent, and that's why universities across the country know that our students are well prepared for post-secondary study.
Meaning Alberta kids,
Alberta curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so honestly, there really is not a requirement to add more to what is already being offered in our rigorous curriculum.
Okay, before we head back to the chat, we'll just say counsellor. Sorry if I said that incorrectly.
Oh, that's fine. You got it right. First of all, I'm sorry that I joined a little late, very late, I would say. I joined just now. So my first question is there a recording available for this meeting?
Is the recording available?
I'm doing my best.
We're trying to record it. We're not sure if it's actually going to work, but Miss Carrie will share the PowerPoint with parents. And I'm always available to answer questions at l.forde, F-O-R-D-E, @stemia.ca.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yes, parents, what I'll do is I'll send out the PowerPoint to all of our grade 10 and 11 parents along with Linda's email, so you have it.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, will there be any sessions or any help that will be available to the kids when they apply for universities, like essay preparation or anything that they can expect?
Oh yes, that's a big part of my job. I'm there for them.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and then the same thing for applying for scholarships. You know, we can help direct them in the right way, but those scholarship websites are very, very helpful. But if they want help looking over a scholarship application, we can definitely help with that. Another question, and Rajita, you asked a question about graduation. I love that. I have some great news for you all in 1 minute. I'll come back on that. Engineering schools, which one is similar to U of C University application-wise?
They're all pretty much the same. Now, U of C I don't think they have a very big supplemental. Some universities, like UBC is very different. UBC has the most comprehensive, holistic application. They look at, is this student a strong student? They don't even want to tell us what their competitive averages are because they want to see the whole student. So they will look at 50-50, who you are, how you answer your profile questions, how you create that profile, and 50% are you strong? Who are you? Do we fit who you are, and do you fit the program you're looking into? And are you capable of that program? That's what they look at.
I will also say the courses we offer here at STEM are very, very unique. So for example, our biomedical engineering course, our mechanical engineering courses. And so that could just be when you talk about a project you might have done in some of those courses, that could be what sets you ahead of someone else coming out of another Alberta school that they don't do anything close to what we're doing here. So that will help.
Many applications across the country will have a little bit of the supplemental questions, like what do you do in your spare time, what other interests do you have, etc. The majority are pretty straightforward. U of T, depending on the program.
You froze. Okay, keep going.
U of T, depending on the program, will have supplemental questions, as does Waterloo and some of the other Ontario universities. And as I say, UBC is the most comprehensive one.
Okay, we're almost ready to wrap up here. Anita just asked, can you recap some of those key dates over the next 6 to 8 months for these kids as far as application, when to look? We could talk about university open houses, post-secondary fairs.
Yeah. So October 1st, most universities open their application portals. So students may begin to apply in October. In December, the beginning of December, some universities, U of C included, will have a deadline for their prestige awards. These are the big entrance awards that students apply for specifically. They also have, many universities do, U of C does, they have entrance awards that are based on your overall average, entrance average. And those are automatic. You don't need to apply for those. So that's kind of something to be aware of, is that December 1st date for any awards that you want to apply for at the school to which you are applying, if you qualify for those awards. January, there are deadlines in January for some of the universities. That's relatively early. Most are by February, beginning of February, and then here in Alberta, it's by March 1st for most of the schools. I also mentioned in the presentation that some programs will have a different deadline than others. U of T has one specifically for nursing, I think it is. There are other schools the same for commerce, business, and for nursing and other programs like that. So you need to be careful, and I certainly can help guide students when they do their applications to be sure they're aware of those deadlines. The schools are very good at providing that information as well and reminding.
Yeah. And if you noticed in my weekly updates throughout the year, we give you information if there's out of province fairs, thank you, presentations, or even in province presentations. We have brought some schools in at lunchtime, meet and greets, information sessions, and we will continue to do that for our kids, especially our local Alberta schools. So yeah, I think that's
One more thing I'll
Yep.
just say, next fall, I will also provide on the website a handout, a document that shows what are the key deadlines for the different schools that many students are applying to across the country. I will create a scholarships document that students can click on the links to all the different websites and give you the updated information about deadlines for various programs at the different major schools.
Yeah. Okay, one more quick question and then we'll wrap up. Ontario universities provide more credits. I think they're meaning upping the averages. There's nothing official in Ontario. Western University in the past has been rumored, and this is what the university kids tell us too, but there's nothing published on their website that they have for that.
Yeah.
One more, this is actually a good question. How many universities do you recommend students apply for?
Oh, it can be so expensive. A couple $1,000s can end up being spent just on applications. So I think you need to be selective. Honestly, I think 5 is probably plenty.
Yeah, and Ontario, when you're part of the UAC, that entitles you to 3 programs you can apply for. It can be
programs.
Yeah, so they could all be at the same school, or they could be 3 at different schools. So that's a good one.
$156 just for the application process. Each school then adds their fee.
Yeah.
So if you apply to University of Toronto for commerce, and you pay your $156 to the Ontario University Application Centre, you then pay $200, I think it's about $190, $200 last year, to University of Toronto to continue the application. So each of the universities are anywhere from $110 to $210 for their application fees.
Yeah. Okay, now, since most of you are grade 11 parents, we are very excited. You are the first to know. We have booked graduation 2025 for our first graduating class of STEM. This will be on June 6th, 2025, which is a Friday. We will be having the ceremony in the morning and then a banquet in the evening. Ceremony will be open for up to 5 guests, I believe, for each graduate. We might be able to have a few more. And then the reception will be a few less guests, just because it's a full banquet. But what we're seeing now more is becoming the trend is that oftentimes the kids are just wanting to go to the banquet by themselves and the parents take them out for dinner beforehand, but we will still be able to have some tickets available. There will be lots of information coming your way over the next 12 months about graduation. Either start saving now for university and graduation, especially if you have a daughter. It's not cheap. And we'll be giving you lots. We're also going to be looking for parents, for a parent volunteer committee to help us out with the planning. So that is on my to-do list to put in one of my weekly messages coming up here shortly. And our parent community is so incredible, shown by tonight, over 40 of you here. So thank you for being part of this. I put Linda's email address in the chat, and I will also send it to all of you with this presentation and any further questions. But the kids, we want them to be advocates for themselves, so they should also be coming to Ms. Forde with their questions. We want them to build those skills and ask those questions. All right.
So can you, ma'am, when is it the graduation ceremony? Sorry, I just spoke up.
It's okay, June the 6th, 2025.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. We are pretty excited to watch those kids walk the stage. But we got a lot of work to do before then. All right, thanks everybody, and thanks to Linda very much for your time and effort in this.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.